Chris Rock stand-up special, and like I said earlier, I've talked about I've talked about stand-up before in the form of Louis C.K. and the thing that happened with Isaac Butterfield and all that stuff. But Chris Rock 6 days ago did this Netflix hosted this Netflix live event, which Netflix hasn't really done before, and it's called Chris Rock Selective Outrage. And so the first time I did have to rewatch it, because the first time I did it, I walked in randomly, my parents were watching it, so they're laughing, and I hear this thing on the TV. Oh, then I come to find out, okay, this is Chris Rock's stand-up special, and he does this amazing. I think he does. It's a very good special, I'd say so myself. It's like it is amazing, and I've talked about how you have that difference between when you go see the stand-up live, and then you're at home, and there's a different experience, and it's not with the crowd and all that. There is that element to it, but I feel like every punchline just hits very hard, and it's like, okay, that joke works, that joke works, that joke works, that joke works, and it just kept going on where the jokes were just very, very good. And to explain for those who don't know, like in the first 10 minutes of the special, he dives into selective outrage, which is when someone specifically wants to, get out, like be triggered and outraged about something, be offended, and we have we have really bet it around the bush when it comes to talking about offensive culture and how PC culture is a joke and how it's and weirdly became such a giant polarizing thing. We've talked about it a few times on this show about how, oh, you shouldn't joke about this thing and that thing because it's going to offend this group and the group after that and all of that stuff. But it was just great just to see him just knocking it out of the park, just destroying PC culture because it is stupid, right? You should be able to joke about everything. There should be no limits, and that's my opinion. There shouldn't be any limits. If you go in with the intention that you're gonna make someone laugh, then so be it. So be it, because it's just a piece of entertainment. It's just a bunch of jokes. So why are we getting offended by it? So there's that, right? But he goes on about like the Will Smith slap situation, which was last year. If you know what I'm talking about, it's like when Chris Rock does this joke about G.I. Jane. He's like, I want to see G.I. Jane 2 or something, and then Will Smith is like this, well, boom, and he just slaps him on live television, and then he's crying, and it's like, you hit my wife, it's like this stuff, and it was just crazy to see that this was acceptable at that event. It's like the people at the Oscars just let him get his award for King. What was it called? His film was called like King Richard or something. They let him. They let him have this award and all that. But then everyone voiced their opinion on the Will Smith slap situation, and they all said, Will Smith is a bitch. I guess you could say. It's like, it's just like he was just doing this, and he was just doing a stupid act, and then Chris Rock comes along, makes a special, and dives into that. But he also goes on about Meghan Markle and how she was like, the royal family is so racist. Oh, I just know it, known about it today, and it's like, and then Chris Rock's like, oh, the royal family is the OGs of racism, and he does all of that, and he talks about yoga pants and how non-racist yoga pants and how his children are privileged and they're like they have all these privileges, and he talks about men and women and trans people, and he jokes about literally everything under the sun. And this is a category of stand-up comedians that I do very much enjoy, where they joke about every single thing and they do not care what comes of it, because obviously it's just a bunch of jokes, and it's just it's been established, right? But I wouldn't say that Chris Rock goes to the lengths of Louis C.K. Right? He's not like wild, but he has that dark material esque sort of stand up comedy. But I've not watched any of his other specials, but I just know from this special alone that Chris Rock did a fantastic job. And it's only about an hour long. Like usually stand up shows are about an hour, and it was just great to see it. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that Will Smith even voiced his own take on the whole situation as well. Like, I remember reading this article about it. Right, I'm pretty sure he did do that. Okay, I'm just gonna find a thing of him talking about his thoughts on it. Because I do think it's important, because obviously Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, so he's important. And I did forget to mention that Chris Rock joked about how he was talking about Snoop Dogg and the Kardashians. You know, we roasted the Kardashians back a while back on the show. We mentioned that before, but we had that right where Chris Rock joked about the Kardashians, like, oh, let this bipolar rapper into the family, let this person into the family, just joking about how the Kardashians will let anyone into their family. And he was joking about what's happening. So, well, we'll just go to school, like, Will Smith's reaction to Chris Rock's stand up, right? While I'm searching this up, right, there's also, what else did he say? Like, there was this joke he joked about, like, Will Smith's movies Concussion and Emancipation, but he messed up the way of doing it. So we came out with, well, that because it was live and it wasn't pre-recorded, or how he's like, obviously he's remembered the jokes and stuff, but because it's a live stream, it's like, he can't sort of go back and edit it, all of that stuff. So it was kind of that thing of like, okay, because this is live, you can't sort of fix the joke because it was live and it wasn't script. Well, he knew what he was talking about, sort of thing. But it was just one of those things. Like, it was because it was live, you just couldn't have the joke be as perfect as he wanted to be, if that makes sense. So I'm pretty sure there is. Wait, it says here that Chris Rock's fumbled Will Smith joke removed from Netflix special. I did actually note